Welcome back to Buffering, the podcast where we pause and process all that's happening in Arkansas, queer nightlife, and drag in general. My name is Jason Wiest, and I'm here with my sidekick, Lady Kassandra the White.
Hello!
And boy, do we have a great interview for you this time around. She is, or if you're just joining us, this is a podcast series that is interviews with all the different hosts of our monthly open stage night at Sway featuring. And coming up the first February and Friday. Whoops, the first Friday in February. I need more coffee. Not sure what the date is, but we have then and here, sitting right here in the studio, Miss Chloe Jacobs.
What up? Is this thing on?
Welcome, Chloe.
Hi, how are you?
We're great.
Now, this is the first time we've met. How are you doing?
I am sassy, recovering, and...
You and I both just woke up about an hour ago.
Yeah.
And it is 6:27 p.m.
You guys were both in the Geesh last night, and both at the club. You were in the late night show after the magic show.
Midnight.
Yeah.
And I never book now these days, so...
You just came to turn looks. And struggle getting into that course.
Fuck that course start. But I love it. I made it, so yeah.
But it's been a little while since you've been at the club, and now you'll be back again, of course, like I said, here in a couple of weeks. But you've been doing drag for quite a while. Have you hit a decade yet?
26 years?
8 years, I think.
Okay.
I think 8 years altogether, like for real. Because I started, I did a turnabout show actually for the Diamond State Rodeo Association.
Okay.
And I think that was in like 2010.
A what show?
A turnabout show.
What is that?
It's where like all the guys dresses the girls and all the girls dresses the guys.
I've never seen one of those.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen one of them. I've heard a lot about them, but I think they were sort of like a pre-2010 or maybe even more of a 90s thing, at least here locally.
So when that happened for you, did you know your name?
Actually, my name was Emerald at that point. Emerald Rose, because of Diamond Rose. She used to be like a staple in Arkansas, I guess, with the rodeo association and stuff. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll follow her. I'll like be her daughter or something. But then I thought about it and I was like, Emerald makes me sound way too old. I can't do that. Yeah, I'm like, I can't do that. So then I just came up with Chloe. Like, that was December, so it had to be like January. I came up with Chloe.
Huh.
And you kept it since, did your last name change?
Mm-mm.
Look at that.
It was Jacobs. I just tried to use my own last name on that one, on the Chloe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, obviously, I know that when you're not in drag, you're still part of that Western world, but is there any of that Western influence in Chloe?
Probably not. It's probably more like pop culture for Chloe, just because I separate all the different lives I feel like that I live in. From country, I keep that like on this side of the table, and then I do the drag on this side of the table, and then I keep Evan just in the back.
Emerald was influenced by the Western culture, or
tried to be, because that's how I thought it was like gonna go for me, because I thought that's all I was gonna do. You know, I thought I was just gonna do a turnabout show and then be done with it. And so I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can put on like some heels and a country little dress and go out there and do a Laura Bell Bundy number. And that's what I did. No joke. That was my first number. It was Laura Bell Bundy, like Giddy On Up or something.
Huh. And back then was DSRA, that's how you say it, right? That was more of a scene than it is now. Like, do they still have a clubhouse, or? They
don't have a clubhouse anymore, and I guess they had just gotten rid of it whenever I started. Yeah, they had just gotten rid of it whenever I started, so we were actually doing a lot of stuff at Miss Kitty's at that point, whenever Miss Kitty's was still around. And I say that it was bigger back then than what it is now. The Diamond State Rodeo Association.
They still have like the annual rodeo here.
Biannual. Two.
Oh, okay.
They do it every 2 years for Little Rock.
Okay. And what else do they have that's occurring?
I think they have like benefit shows at Chaps.
Okay.
They used to have a royalty court, and the royalty court part of it is fundraising. That's what they're all about. They want you to fundraise and give back to the community and do stuff like that. but I haven't really seen any royalty come from them lately because I just don't think that they have enough members.
Okay.
Because, I mean, gay cowboys in Arkansas.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. That for people that don't know, tell them a little bit like what that sector of like the community is. It's just rodeo, basically.
I mean, yeah, it's rodeo. You can go. I mean, like the rodeo events are really cool because you don't have to ride horses to go and compete at like one of their rodeos. You could go out there and do wild drag, which is where there's 3 team members. One's pulling the calf, one's pushing a calf. You're trying to get across the line, and once you get to that line, there's someone waiting in a wig and a dress, and it could be like total camp stuff, trying to get on that calf to get back across that line.
I need to get in on this.
Oh yeah, it's like you don't have to ride horses to be into it, and so they make it fun to watch, And that's even like a competition that they have at Worlds.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've never seen the actual rodeo in the Rock, I think is what it's called. I've been to the clubhouse back when they had it, like after the rodeo, and had a great time at one of the parties, but never seen any of the events. So that would be.
It's fun. That always happens in like April, because it always happens around my birthday. I always feel like April 30th, and it's always raining at least one of the days here.
Is this year one of the years for it, or
next year?
Okay.
They just had it last year.
Okay. And then I'm sure they have it in other states. Okay.
They have it, I want to say like at least 15. And then I think they have one in Canada. Because it's the international. Yeah. One in Canada.
Okay. Well, anyway, but that's not really something you're engaged with anymore. Now you're
yeah, now I'm just performing everywhere, doing hair when I can.
Right.
And horses have kind of been pushed back a little bit, but of course I had a whole year of doing Miss Gay Arkansas stuff.
Okay, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But let's kind of go sequentially. Let's go back in the day, because I guess when I was thinking about it, I thought you had been doing drag longer. 8 years is still a long time, and I don't know, like, there's probably not that many queens in Arkansas that are still performing that have that many years, wouldn't you say?
I would say so. I would say most people go through a phase of it. They're like, okay, let's do this for a little bit, and then
go on Facebook and say they're retiring.
Or they find like a partner that, they try to change their life and go do more of that and live that domestic lifestyle. And no, I'm performing. Sorry.
Talk about that.
I mean, like I am. I just actually got out of a relationship. I was in like a relationship for 1.5 years, but
didn't even know that.
Didn't know that.
I mean, yeah.
You just went public about it at all?
No.
See,
just because I want to keep it so separate.
Yeah.
I'm not one to.
Did he know you did drag?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He met me the night.
No, just secretly going.
Well, we actually started talking on Grindr at the lake 2 years ago, and then he came to Miss Arkansas the night that I won.
Okay.
And never left.
So now you need to bring him around to any other competition for good luck.
Oh no, he's staying at home. He's staying at home. But I think that
did it end well?
We're still going through it.
Oh.
So I just think that a lot of people get their phase out of it where they're like, okay, let's go cross-dressing, let's go do whatever we're doing. And then once they get their feel of it, they're done with it.
What keeps you going?
Probably because I want to do so much more with it. Like, I think that there's a bigger picture and it can take me a whole lot of places. And I think Arkansas needs it. And they need, like, a staple. I look at Dominique Sanchez and I'm like, holy crap, look at how long she's done this. Look at how many people, you say Dominique Sanchez and they know exactly who she is. I love that part. And then I love getting to entertain everywhere. Like, I'm going to Denver next month and I already have, like, 2 shows booked up there. Never been there in my life, but I'm going up there and I'm going to work and get a vacation. So I'm excited about that. But it's because of my name, too, that I can also get that opportunity to travel to a different state and perform.
What's that for?
Huh? Which one?
Didn't you say Vegas?
No, I'm going to Colorado. Denver. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going up there. I'm working at Hamburger Mary's and X Bar with Kalia.
Okay.
So, I mean, without my name, though, I don't think that I could have been able to do that. Just show up, I would have done a spotlight number, I guess.
So you're into like the fame, like that drives you, like getting your name and growing your recognition, and
I think the self-satisfaction of it is more is what drives me to do it, but I do love that I can go into the bar and people know exactly who I am.
Access.
Yes, but now I also love that people don't know who I am behind it, you know? So, like, if a lot of people would see me out in the streets, they'd be like, oh, okay. You know, they wouldn't know who Evan is, but they know who Chloe is. And Chloe's the spotlight. Chloe needs to stay in the bars because that's who gives you... It's like, to me, I compare myself to Sia. Like how she does the whole, like, put a mask on whenever she's performing and doing that. And then if she was to be at the grocery store down the road, you wouldn't know it was her. Because that's not who you see.
But you obviously had a start in queer nightlife before. Like, you were a personality as a voice somewhat, right? Because
I would go out, yeah. I mean, I started going out when I was 18.
And doing a turnabout show, people sort of usually know who those guys were that were doing that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I miss Kitties. I mean, because...
Did you bar back or bartend or something like that? Okay.
Never. I just was a patron of the bars all the time.
Okay.
I would just go. I guess, I don't know why I would go all the time. Are you picking glue out your hair?
Yes. It's still there.
Trust the struggle. Well, I would just really go to the bars, and I would be more of that social person. Probably too because of my background and where I grew up, being in Brinkley.
Okay.
Not really being in like a gay lifestyle or knowing a lot about it, and then getting to come into fruition with yourself and being like, oh, okay, I'm gay.
It's a whole new world,
yeah,
a whole new community, and
seeing the gay bars and seeing all the people out and meeting people. But
and so sort of that networking and fame or the access is something that drives you to keep going. But you said there was something else, right?
The really just like self-satisfaction of it, you know, like
achieving things.
Yeah.
And like, okay.
I mean, like, Drag Race. I want to get on Drag Race. I want to be the first Arkansas queen on there.
Who's it gonna be, girl?
I don't know, girl, but it has to happen. It has to happen.
Why do you think it hasn't happened?
Because I don't think anybody's tried out.
Okay.
I don't think, as much as people say that they have, I don't think anybody has.
I think going through the process is a lot.
It is.
so they'll say they'll do it, and then they
like
see
you
it and
start.
Like,
It's a whole thing of stuff. Like extensive background check. Like you have to put in website links of where you might even be mentioned.
But you know, are you watching AJ and the Queen?
Mm-hmm. I've already watched that.
Yeah. So you know, RuPaul has like Little Rock on the mind, or Arkansas. She has some awareness at least.
Something,
you know?
yeah. She has something. And I think that we have staples in Arkansas that do put us, or that have been here, that do put us above to where we should be held to a little bit of a higher standard in the drag world-ish, you know, just because of our past.
Standards in the drag world.
Like, I don't know. I think that people look to Arkansas and they're like, okay, good queens do come out of Arkansas. But where do they go once they're out of Arkansas? We started it all here, but it all kind of stays here. You know? And I think a lot of people in Arkansas are afraid to get out of Arkansas. And so I think that's one reason why I do think people haven't tried out for Drag Race either. Because I think, I know I'm afraid to see what the world would think about me, like, on that big of a platform.
I don't know that I would give a shit.
I mean, girl, honestly, one episode I'd be like, I'm great, I'm good. But in goals here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would want to be on there and still be able to get booked afterwards. But, but you're always, no matter what, there's going to be some motherfucker that's just going to say some shit. I mean, it happens in the bar daily.
Right.
So, and online more so. So, like, I wouldn't even care about that part. Like, it's just like, whatever. You get it now. You get it from your own girls that you thought were your quote-unquote sisters. So, like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Just go on there, do your shit.
That's the way that I'm processing 2020 for myself, is like not caring anymore, and like the only person that's holding me back is myself. Nobody else is.
So true.
You know,
it's very, very.
And like I can control when and where I'm going to end up somewhere. Nobody else can anymore. So I'm just trying to be like positive and trying to look up, because girlfriend, we got to change some stuff around here.
Around the Arkansas drag scene?
Around here. around like myself. You know, like on my aura.
I was like, speaking of around here, let's talk about some drama.
Which one?
Lord.
Should we start?
No, I don't have any drama, Mama.
So, I mean, I don't have any drama, but I think I saw comments about about a local, we shall not name him, but a person who's well known and like problematic in the Hot Springs area.
Oh, that's all you have to say.
And I think I don't know, were they caught with meth or anything like that? But what do you think about like meth being a problem in like the gay community or in like the drag scene? Is it? You've been in the drag scene longer than I have, so I haven't really seen as many people struggle with that. But like, what was your experience like? And what are your thoughts more on that?
Said person is cray-cray. And I think that said person is a product of his raising and like environment more of than anything. So I don't really think that he had any control over it. I think he does have some control over some stuff, but I didn't send his grandma no poop for her to know. Let's just go ahead and I wouldn't waste my time like that. But I've never seen meth in the drag community, honestly. I've seen a lot of like, of course,
was he really ever
use.
drag community, really?
No,
or was he
no.
just someone who thought he was?
I think just thought he was.
Okay.
Because
that's what I never really understood. Like, I know the rooted wig thing and all that, like, subpoena and all. Like,
and I think that for him, and I probably took it a little bit too far and I let it go for too long on the situation. But if I'm being fed, then I'm going to feed, you know? Like, if somebody's feeding me with BS, I'm going to feed you with BS just to go ahead and go along with it. And he was someone that continued to yearn for that attention. So I was feeding it as much as he was. Mm-hmm. And I let it go. I mean, I did let it go on. But I think he just wanted to be noticed and to be recognized in some way, shape, or form. And we were doing it, but we were doing it in the wrong way. If that makes any sense. And I do feel bad about the whole situation just from it going from rooted wigs. But at this point, he's shown who he really is without even the rooted wig situation being involved. That, I mean, he's gotten booked more in the county than he has anywhere the last couple weeks. Bless his heart.
Bless it.
I always get nervous about, I have some general awareness of who you're talking about. I always get nervous when I see, just any individual that's brought up online in sort of this 24/7 all access, like, let's talk about some, it scares the shit out of me, actually.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen multiple instances of people who have some notoriety in the community, not like I've seen, I'm not saying you, of course, but I've seen some people on one day they'll post something about how mental health is so important and it's serious, and they'll share some meme, and then the next day they're running somebody down who, if we looked at them with some humanity, or like they might be struggling, and what you're doing is not positive or constructive or beneficial, or and so like
true from that standpoint. But
I get what you're saying, because I did it recently. I did that very thing because anyways, I did it, and then I like immediately was like, oh shit, why did I do that? And then I immediately took it down. I immediately apologized to everybody that was involved with it, but at the end of the day, it was very vague, and I could have been talking about anything, but they did feel attacked, so I went ahead and apologized to them. But it's truly how I felt, and I let them know that. So it was honesty, but I shouldn't have put it on a public forum as such. And even with going back to personal life, like my breakup, I deactivated Facebooks. I took both my Facebooks down.
I noticed that. I didn't know what the reason was, but
I did, because I didn't want. There's no reason that the public should know what's going on in my life, or me to make a Facebook status that would be like, oh, what's going on? What's wrong with you? Me being sad, or me cutting him down for any reason like that. So I just was like, okay, This is where you need your break right here.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's good for people to take a break from social media. I think it's something that a lot of people should do more often.
Yeah.
I think it's just so good for our art form in that we express ourselves and get to show stuff, because not everyone can come out every day, but it's also like a struggle there. I mean,
Yeah. And how old are you?
I'm 28. How old are you?
28, 29.
Okay.
29. So we're about the same.
Yeah.
So we grew up when Facebook was like, it was popular for us.
Yeah,
You know?
but like it was also
You had to be a part of a college network to get on there or something like that. And like generation under us, 25 to 20, Instagram was their thing that they grew up with. And then the 20s to the 18s, Snapchat. So I think I take Facebook more seriously than any other platform. So I put more on there, you know? Whereas like I deleted those 2 Facebooks and I was checking Instagram more at that point. But I couldn't go on Instagram and just post like some vague status that would get me like, oh, what's wrong with you? What's going on? But did you see my post the other day about, I don't know who needs to hear this, but someone loves you. If you're like my Facebook friend, I had like 200 likes on it. And I had a lot of messages that were like private, but they were like, I needed to hear that.
Girl, the world and social media needs more positivity. Like,
Yeah.
They're starving.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're really wanting, but they go there and they end up comparing themselves to others, and also there's just this tendency, like you said, to just vent and say whatever. And in the drag world, it's just easy to do that when there are newcomers around and there's just always drama, so it's easy to feed into that. But I'm like you, I pretty much set out of that. Like, I'll talk about stuff because it's funny, but I'm like on the sidelines.
Yeah, I feel like you do a decent job of like making light of some things and making them not so serious in social media and stuff like that. But I want to talk more about that, because you mentioned a little bit earlier that you felt like social media was such a good like thing for the art form. And I'm just wondering, is it really? Because you said, I think it's a good thing for the art form because obviously not everybody can come out all the time. And my 2 thoughts on there are these things. Is it actually always good? Because I see a lot more just drama, mama, like extra, we don't care, we don't need it. Like, you're not really promoting yourself, at least in any sort of positive way. You know, it's just drama. But then I think it can be used as a tool if you're really like professional with it and, you know, and using it that way. But then also you say, because also people can't come out all the time. And you've been doing drag, I mean, long enough. 8 years is not as long as I thought, like I said, but that's back in a time.
It is for her being my age.
And it's back in a time where
That's almost a third of your life.
Yeah.
There were more venues, at least, you know. And so how has the drag scene and queer nightlife changed in your time, and how is it, if at all, related to social media?
Oh, because people are goal chasing now more, I feel like, than anything, because of social media, because they see what their friends are doing and they're like, oh, my friends are traveling, so I need to travel so that I can post that on Facebook. So I think that's changed like that, but I think that also community involvement has changed with getting the community to be involved within a bar, to bring those people out, to get those people into your bar. But I think the giving back needs to start around here more than anything everywhere. I think that it needs to start. I think that bars need to have fundraisers. They need to support like a cause. They need to give back to want to bring those people in here. I remember way back in the day, where you would go to like Pulse, and you would go on a Thursday or a Friday, you'd get a night band or you get an armband, and you get into all 3 of those bars. You know? But that enticed people to go to all 3 of those bars.
But that was also like the same ownership, right? For all those bars?
Yeah, they were all. But I think that if we had 2 bars that were owned by the same person or something like that. But then again, social media, you can get online and you can see, like, if someone goes live on there, you can get on there and you can see them and what they're wearing and what they're doing. And they don't really want to go out there to see it at that point. They want to sit at home and drink their wine for $2 and
Is that what they're doing? What are they
I don't know. Yeah,
That's also why recently, like, in my social media has changed drastically. I used to post every single performance because I was excited about it. I wanted, like, let me show who the fuck Kassandra is and the gags and stuff. And I have limited it. And on purpose, like if my friends wanted, like I'll show my looks and stuff and maybe clips here and there, and occasionally if I really think I need this recorded, I'll post it up there. But I'm not posting every single one like I used to. So I think there is that give and take. But yeah, I take like what you, but like I don't know, to get like the general crowd excited that doesn't really come out to, I don't know, like your friends and
it's
stuff.
Hard to reach them.
So I don't know if that's the best way.
Something about like
the algorithm or
like the algorithm, and I think like people now, I don't know, it's just something
Netflix.
has clicked. Yeah, something has clicked to where you're driven to stay at home a little bit more because I feel like I'm paying for all these, like, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix. Like, girl, I'm going to get my $14 a month out of that. You know, if I sit at home, I'll watch 14 movies that month at least. But I think more people want to stay at home for whatever reason it may be. Or go to their friend's house and drink their wine and, you know, I think that's really what it is.
Well, and, you know, I don't know if audiences are declining. I mean, I know gay bars here in Arkansas and globally are declining. I mean, they're closing. Girl.
They're closing, yeah.
It's
like that one just in Ohio, like that. They've had national pageants there.
Is that the one that they're trying to stay open, but they just can renew their lease instead of looking for a different venue?
Yeah, something like that. But they want to stay open. I mean, they've had national pageants there for years, and then they said that they were closing their doors, and we're like, whoa, what? Yeah. But it's happening everywhere. But goes with just this year, the pass of minimum wage being raised. So with the minimum wage having to be raised, then somewhere that business owner has to cut costs, raise costs, or do something to supplement that extra outgoing money to their employees. You got to figure it out some way. But if you're having to pay them more, and there's less people that can come through that door because they're not getting paid that much money.
Well, hopefully there's. That's what I was saying. Raising the minimum wage would mean there's more customers that come out.
Also,
because I do feel like there is an economic squeeze on people, especially like minority communities like ours. You know, where they just don't have as much to spend as maybe back when you started drag. Back when you started drag, I think that was still those days where people would literally line the fuck up to tip your ass.
Yes, I have videos on YouTube. Where I watch them and I'm like, dang, where are all those people at? Like, where are all those people that I used to see at Miss Kitty's that would line up to give me money, you know? And now they're really
people
not.
are just broke. And so, like, the minimum wage stuff, while it will be, like, something hard for business owners at first, I think over long term we're going to see people, like, it saddens me. And I'm, like, facing this right now. I only work 1 day a week, 10 hours. It fucking sucks. But, like, my friends we all have friends who aren't, like, doing the best economically, and so like the new kids and stuff that come around the club, they're like, I can't really come this side. Like they pick their nights that they can be at the club. So I do hear that talk. Like they can't afford really to come all the time. So,
and if I was doing drag for the money, honey, I'd be rich for forever. But it's not about the money for me at all.
Let's talk about that too, because I feel like with RuPaul and just the explosion of drag that's been happening, I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of new queens come on the scene in the past 5 years or so, and like you say, some of them fizzle out real quick, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like, if drag is a once a year thing or a one-time thing or a fucking every weekend thing, like, just drag up your life somehow.
Yeah,
right?
do it. Get away and go vacuum your floor or something. Right. Yeah. I mean, girl, but I go back to what were you saying, finishing on that one?
I was trying to recall what was I going with that?
Getting
doing drag for the money.
Yeah.
You're not doing drag for the money. And I think that, I know that I have encountered some queens personally, and they come at me a different way because of what I do, of course, as the club owner, but that's what they see is the opportunity in it from these girls that started, from nothing and got on RuPaul's Drag Race and now are international fucking superstars playing sold out arenas and awesome drag, like not a dollar to spare on the.
Yeah.
I mean,
not a stone unplaced, like
but it's
untouched.
sort of like going professional in any sporting thing. Like how many people will actually reach that level, and on the other end of that spectrum, it's a struggle. Like
and a lot of people don't realize that even though one of these drag race queens, we can tell them what their booking fee is. So say $2,000. What the new queens are not realizing is that some of that goes towards a hotel or a flight or something that adds on to it. So by the end of you even booking that queen, you spent $3,000, $4,000 just to get them here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh.
And there's a whole crew that goes behind it that has to get them here and that gets a cut of it. And I mean,
and as this has grown, and now I mean, they're like I say, they're playing major arenas in major cities across the world on Saturday nights. You know, so if you want to get them on a night like that when they're in high demand, honey, it's big.
Yeah, it's gonna cost you, and they don't. But the same ones that are begging for the booking fees aren't the ones that are coming out here and showing themselves every weekend either. That are being seen, that are building those relationships with those people, and that's why I basically go out in drag every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's because if I'm not building the relationships, then who's going to tip me? If I'm not building friendships, who's going to be that like on Facebook or Instagram or something like that to want to be like, oh, I want to come see them. There's a 65-year-old lady that I met her 2 weekends ago. She's been out to the bar every single weekend since.
Wow.
Every single weekend. She's fierce too. She's a breast cancer survivor and she has this breastplate baby. She is sickening.
Yes.
And she will tell you all about it. She loves her life. Yes, God. But she's been out every weekend and she's like, I will come see you every weekend if I have to. But it's because I sit there and I talk to her after the show.
Well, I think that's one way that social media has impacted drag because now anybody can paint a mug and make a post. And, you know...
Not anyone can paint a mug. It takes a minute.
Just don't post it.
They can develop all this sort of content on social media, but they may, like, film it or take those photos behind closed doors when no one's around. Mm-hmm. And really, to do drag, like, it is. The building the relationships is a huge part of it. Like, you can't... It almost doesn't matter how
you can have a great face, good costumes, but whenever I get to you and you have no personality at all or no connection with that person.
And if nobody's going to come see you, because that relates to what we're talking about with gay bars and, you know, going out. Yeah. That is part of the function of you are the entertainment mama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if no one is going to come out when your name's on the marquee, then what are we going to do?
How are we going to do that? Because we're supplementing. We need to supplement something here to get that out there.
It's all a circle,
it's a full circle thing. It takes a lot more than just showing up in a face, in a costume, or posting a post on social media.
And what the fuck makes you different from other queens? Like that's my you have to set yourself apart and.
Which is more of the art part of it.
Yes.
You know,
you have to be careful with what you do. And I mean, it's fun if you want to go and like do whatever, but like as far as like a performer, I think you have to be careful with what you put out and be consistent.
And I think that too, people have seen a lot more of the evolvement of drag as far as like going more on the wild side with your makeup or going more, you know, on the wilder side with your costuming or something like that.
Did you ever think when you started drag here in Little Rock, Arkansas 8 years ago that bearded drag would be as much of a thing as it is here right
now? We don't talk about bearded drag. We don't endorse them.
We don't endorse
Just kidding.
them.
Only Lady Sasquatch.
No, but there's, you know, I think that making that more acceptable is going to welcome more people into drag because, I mean, I think for a lot of people, you know, that maybe would do it, they don't want to make the commitment to like shave their eyebrows and just, or even their beard or whatever.
Shave their beard, yeah.
Yeah, but if you can just throw a little glitter on, a little eyeshadow or whatever and do something like, you know, and to me, like that's a big reason that we're trying to do, you know, that drag matters. You know, is to help people sort of like not take life so seriously.
Absolutely.
And, you
I think that more now, honestly, I see a lot of it, that there's a lot more straight people going to watch the drag shows on a regular basis than there are homos, to be quite honest. You know, what I think that we do lack in Arkansas is a lesbian community.
Well, I mean, they're here, of course.
They are. They're everywhere. Lord have mercy. But there's nothing for them to do.
I don't think I've seen one before.
You're looking at
What are they like?
What are they like? What do they look like? But you know, they used to have the aquarium. That was a lesbian bar here, and they said that place would be
you were
packed
talking
here.
about a legitimate aquarium. It's like, what? It's like, where is this aquarium?
Where's the aquarium at? How big is it? What kind of fish are in that? And they said that place used to be packed.
Yeah.
Like on a regular basis.
I don't guess I ever experienced that, but I'm not sure, because didn't it become UBU?
Mm-hmm.
But by that point, I don't know if they were still really like in that niche of really being a lesbian bar. I know they had drag queens, and you know, it was sort of just more of a gay bar.
I think so. I think that's where it went. Yeah. But
I think I hear Hot Springs they tend to turn out like at the bars over there.
Oh yeah, rumors.
Yeah, but I'd only gone to perform there once when there was a pageant going on here, so I was like, oh, there's not much.
There's not much going on.
I mean, I still make quite a bit, but
it's funny.
Speaking of Hot
it's like
Springs,
the one night I get booked here.
Hot Springs and rumors and different communities and stuff. You've been doing this long enough and traveling all across Arkansas and beyond the state. What are some differences that you see in the places that you go? Are there certain areas or communities that stand out for certain things, or is it all sort of generally the same vibe? Or
most places give me the same vibes. I will say that you can, like, from here to Fayetteville, you can notice a huge difference. Just in, I think that they're so evolved up there. Like, my gosh, they do everything up in Fayetteville. And every time you
mean the Queens?
No, the community. Okay. The community. Like, you could go really anywhere
on the Queens. Like, no, they're not evolved.
No, who's Taylor Madison Monroe? She's been doing that for like 30 years. I just think that they're so evolved up there, and the difference in
they have the best fucking Pride festival in the state.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. They have, but I think that comes from the college that's there and having so many people in there. The Walmart being one of the biggest like corporations up there that brings so much to that city. Like from there to Monroe, Louisiana, because I perform there quite often, you know.
But that's a smaller city that doesn't have all the Fortune 500 companies, and
but you can see the huge difference in like the people that go out there on a regular basis. That the gay and straight community between the two of them, you can see like a huge divide in them too, to where they're still on that side of the straight people that walk through the door. So like I'm a little reserved about all of this that's going on right now. Whereas if you went to Fayetteville, you would see all of the straight people being like all in the same clique. Everybody would just be together in Fayetteville. Monroe, the gay people, they stay on their side. The straight people, I feel like, stay on that side, and they never commingle. But like I said, in Fayetteville, they're just all together. You know, and I think it's the times where Fayetteville has evolved so much. In Monroe, it's in Louisiana. You know, it's like Arkansas.
Well, it's being a college town, like having the state's flagship university, that's a big deal, because I think that there's a community just within the university itself, you know, and progressive thought, of course. I don't get to go anywhere really because I'm always at the club on the weekends.
You have to work on the weekends.
But I agree that it seems like there's something different about the Little Rock community in general than there is the Fayetteville community, and that difference is something that lends itself to helping the queer culture and that whole scene be solid as well.
Yeah.
I guess I know that they do, like I said, the Pride Festival, which is huge, like some of the more like community-wide events. Well, they had something major, I think, at Crystal Bridges recently where Ginger Minge came in, and, you know, I don't know the ins and outs, and if there are like the Walton family is giving money or people, but I mean, is that what it would take in any city? Like, is it basically like the major moneyed class
to be fronting and to be putting that out there? I don't know. I really don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the money that comes from them or if it's I don't know. I'm doing something there on April Fool's Day and I'm like, wait, is this a joke?
Where at?
At Crystal Bridges.
Huh.
But I really don't know the details of even what it is or what they're doing. But I know that was a complete fundraiser. All of the money that I think that they all earn, they donated to something.
And it's crazy because in the art world, that museum is regarded as one of the fucking best in the world.
And it's still new, like basically.
For American art, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so to think that this major international venue of American art is hosting fucking drag shows featuring Arkansas queens, it's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's so cool. I think it's what we need. I think it's what is making them be that progressive city because they're doing something like that.